My name is Kai O'Mara with KCRG TV9 at Cedar Rapids. I was here 2 years ago. I was not able to make it last year, unfortunately, and my mom and her kids not able to make it here either. Her school kids. It's not like I have a brother or anything. Her school kids. She's still in the classroom. So the thing about today, obviously, everybody coming together. We're going to get our first speaker up here right away. I want to welcome also our NAMI team captains, NAMI team volunteers today. We're here to learn about NAMI and the NAMIWalks program. The theme for this year's event is Rain or Shine, we have you covered. And I've heard about the walk. The walk the last few years has been extraordinarily wet, extraordinarily cold. And I do have the date for the walk, so put this in your calendar. It's May 6th. Here's the deal with May. It's usually not in the 30s and raining in May. But it can still rain. So we're still wishy-washy on that part there, but I'm hoping it's not in the 30s at 10 a.m. for you. 10 a.m. is the walk start time, 8:30 is the registration time. We'll get that date repeated here this morning, too. We're going to introduce for you Phil Steffensmeyer. Phil is in his 4th year on the board of NAMI JC and in the 2nd year of president in Johnson County. He believes the sense of community here is what led him to be so interested in becoming a volunteer. Before joining NAMI Johnson County, Phil volunteered for NAMI University of Iowa as a public speaker. He took in Our Own Voice training and the peer-to-peer class from NAMI Johnson County. He's been hooked on it ever since. Phil's lived in Iowa City his whole life with the exception of a few years in Decorah. He just got engaged in January to the love of his life, Kenda Stewart. She's here today too. And in the summer, congratulations, Phil. In the summer, you're going to find him playing bocce ball. Year-round, you can find him leaning over a Scrabble or a boggle board. So please welcome Phil Steffensmeyer.
You are tall.
Oh, sorry.
It's walk time again, and I'm as excited as ever. I find it hard to express what the walk means to me in words, but apparently that's my job, so I'm going to give it a shot. I would like to thank you all for coming. I hereby promise not to say peep about the weather for the walk. Let's just say that I've been wrong about that before, and I've been reminded that I was wrong. This year, the theme is Rain or Shine, we have you covered. I would like to think there's some kind of retroactive forgiveness in that, but no. It would be great if Kai could arrange a nice day for us, but I don't think that's in either of our power. The walk is a time of community. People I haven't seen in too long are more than willing to join me for the walk. I'm grateful for them spending that couple of hours at Terry Trueblood Park and letting their thoughts about mental illness occupy their minds. It certainly occupies my mind. Never more so than when the walk rolls around each year. Often the donations come from people I know are already behind me. Sometimes donations come from people I really would never expect. The lead up to the walk for me is finding out how many people know about NAMI, how many people I can tell about NAMI, and how many people know so much about NAMI that they are willing to open their wallets. Sometimes it's a simple Facebook post that you thought people would scroll by, and sometimes it takes a personal email. Whatever it takes, please do make that contact. Let them know that the work NAMI does is invaluable to you. It's the team captains that bring together walkers and those donors. Taking on that leadership role is no small task. There are thousands of people in our community who recognize our mission and want to advance the role of NAMI JC as a voice of reason, both locally and nationally. Team captains do their best to encourage the team to do their best. One of the more important things to me is that we raise awareness. I believe that the more people that are familiar with NAMI, the harder it is for them to ignore the need for organizations like NAMI to exist. The more people who know we can fill a crucial void, the more likely they are to want to help. Maybe they cannot donate now, but as I walk downtown, I appreciate all the people who are ready to listen and learn about the work we do. I am always ready for that conversation. A portion of the money we bring in benefits Our Place. I'm very proud of the Our Place members. Our Place is a healthy environment that provides a sense of belonging. It's available to anyone with a mental illness and is known for being non-judgmental and a safe place to talk about your needs and dreams. With the walk money that we were able to bring in, we successfully moved Our Place to a better location. NAMI has been able to provide more peer support specialists for our members. To put it bluntly, Jen Day, the Our Place coordinator, has been working diligently to improve all aspects of Our Place. I would also like to recognize our new walk manager, Erin Noon. She is doing a great job of involving local businesses and providing the encouragement to all walkers. She is also very impressive as a leader. We are fortunate to have hired someone who is so highly committed. Erin, would you please stand up and be recognized? Thank you. Very little would happen at NAMI JC without the tireless efforts of Mary Isa. She frequently goes to great lengths to keep NAMI JC an excellent resource to the people affected by mental illness. In too many ways to list, Mary does an excellent job of bringing awareness to mental illness. She has worked extra hard this year with the staff vacancies. And Mary, would you please stand up and be recognized? Thank you. To the board of directors, it really is an honor to work alongside you. I know you put things aside to be a solid board member for this organization. The stigma surrounding mental illness has to be lifted, and I am lucky enough to see the results of your active board membership. Please stand when I call your name so that we can acknowledge your service to the community. Stacy Mead, our president-elect. LaDonna Wickland, our secretary. Greg Hall, our treasurer. And our at-large members, Rita Offit, Susan Spaziani, Leslie Carpenter, and Jessica Boyle. I would also like to thank a couple of past NAMI board members. Patty Henderson. I admit I haven't seen her yet. Worth a shot. Dan Hugg. I'm not winning. Marga Lee, I know, is here. Orville Townsend. Okay. And Frank Schmidt. And I would also like to say thank you to the NAMI Lynn County Board, as this is not only the Johnson County Walk, but the Lynn County Walk as well. So representing Lynn County, we have Steve Miller and possibly Shelley Kramer. There we go. Okay. Well, thank you very much, and please have a wonderful lunch. Oh, I forgot one last line. Once again, thank you all for coming. I love it when so many people come together to fight stigma and show that caring about your neighbors is important to you. Please be very proud of yourselves, always. It may be an uphill battle, but when I see so many friendly faces in this room, I'm reminded that there are many more people out there who simply understand. Please enjoy your luncheon.
Our next speaker is going to be delivered via video, unless Senator Liz Mathis was able to make it. I don't believe I've seen her at all. So, Liz Mathis was just reelected, ranking member of the Human Resources Committee and on the Administration and Regulation Budget. She also serves on the Appropriations, Commerce, and Education Committees. She represents the people of Robbins, Marion, Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, Bertram, Ely, and Southern Lynn County. Liz has been instrumental and continues to support mental health redesign. Liz Mathis.
Hi, I'm Liz Mathis. I hope you're having a great lunch today. I am your honorary chair of the 2017 NAMI Walk in Johnson County. Thank you so much for naming me honorary chair. I really cherish that. And I hope that all the team captains and all the fundraisers are ready to raise money for NAMI because it goes to a great cause. So I'm your cheerleader in this. I'm behind you all the way. We're in the Senate today, right now, and we're working on some things that actually we're going to go into the Human Resources meeting in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about several mental health issues. I have a bed tracking bill. I have a bill on increasing acute psych beds. We have a children's mental health and well-being bill that we're working on, and so I'm your champion here at the Senate for mental health issues regarding children and adults. So my words to you: get out and fundraise, because we need all the help we can get to help our people who are the most vulnerable across the state of Iowa. Thank you.
All righty, our next speaker this morning. Are we in the afternoon yet? We're getting pretty close, I suppose. Our next speaker during this lunch hour, Mary Issa. You're probably well familiar with Mary Issa. She's in her 12th year being involved with NAMI Johnson County and her 3rd year as the executive director. Many of you have watched her boys grow up in front of you as they're often volunteering behind the scenes, loading and unloading supplies and setting up for all these events. So, Mary Issa.
Thank you, Kai, Phil, Liz, and soon Mary and Greg for agreeing to be part of the Kickoff Luncheon. They make it all look so easy to be up in front of here, but it's not always easy. So talking in front of a room full of people can be difficult, especially when you're talking about mental illness. Events like our Kickoff Luncheon and the Walk and our NAMI signature programs is a way we're changing dialogues in our community about mental health. We're taking mental illness and telling our story so people know what's going on. NAMI makes a difference every day with such programs as Family to Family, Peer to Peer, Basics, In Our Own Voice, weekly support groups for people with lived experience as well as family members. If you're a leader in one of these programs, could you please stand up and be recognized? We would not be able to do all the wonderful work we do at NAMI without our volunteers. We have volunteers here today who help set up the room so nicely. We have volunteers who come in our office every week and answer phones and do projects. We have volunteers that help at our Peer Wellness Center, including all the volunteers we just recognized for our signature programs. So if you volunteer in other ways, could you please stand up and be recognized? NAMI Johnson County has been so blessed with the WALK program through local grants and the East Central region for funding. We've been able to bring on new staff this year. So since Jen's talking, I'll recognize Erin. Well, Erin stood up earlier. She just joined us in December as our WALK manager, as well as what we're calling a resource development coordinator. So Jen Day, could you stand up and be recognized? Jen is our new She's our Our Place coordinator, and Our Place is a peer recovery center, open Monday through Friday, 1 to 5. And working alongside Jen, we have 3 peer support specialists, Jennifer Patel, Todd Filosi, and Lucienne Boeing. Please, as we finish up here today, take a moment, introduce yourself to these people, because they hear about you, the walkers and the team captains, so introduce yourselves. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out today for the Kickoff Luncheon. Our theme this year is Rain or Shine, we have you covered, because we all know it's been raining the last several years. So please take with you a rain poncho and sunscreen. So either way, we have you covered. If you don't want to keep it, pass it on to one of your people you recruit for your team. We will have more available on walk day, so the first 500 walkers will also receive these. We just thought it was a nice way of reaching out to everyone. So hopefully they come to the walk, rain or shine. So. We need to thank our sponsors. As you can see on the screen, oh, I took it down, sorry. We did have all the sponsors up, and I'll put it up later, who've already committed to sponsoring the 2017 walk. If you go to their businesses, thank them. Even if it's the cashier, whatever, just thank them for sponsoring the NAMI walk. We've been so blessed with our sponsors. Several of them have even increased their sponsorship this year. So that's, it's a two-way street. So they're giving to us, we'll give back to them with our business. So then I'd also like to thank the team captains. Team captains, I know you have to stretch yourself. You have to go out and tell the story of NAMI or tell your personal story. We appreciate that so much. Most of our donations are $25 and less. So that's a lot of donations and a lot of people we're reaching to talk about mental illness. So we thank everybody for coming today. And when you're all finished up, and I'll remind you again later, there are cookies up front that go with our theme. So if there's baggies, feel free to take them back to your workplace.
Thank you very much, Mary. And also, if you happen to have a list of those sponsors, I'd be happy to read them off and make sure they all get recognition, too. That's what I was looking up here real quick for on the envelope. I have another Mary we need to bring up. Mary Greer has lived in Iowa City and worked for the university for more than 30 years. She and her husband, Andy Shaw, fostered and adopted 3 boys in 2000. She currently resides with Andy, their youngest son, Drew, 2 cats, and 2 dogs. Mary enjoys playing tennis, swimming, reading, and walking those dogs. She's very grateful she walked into the Family to Family Support Group session 2 years ago. Let's please give a warm welcome to Mary Greer.
Like this, maybe? I rarely need a microphone.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. I grew up in a large Irish Catholic family near Buffalo, New York, a great way to develop a sense of humor in times of strife. I depend on my sense of humor a lot. Like just yesterday, when my 2 large dogs, a yellow lab and a golden retriever, figured out how to open my automatic car door and came walking into Heartache Drug to find me getting my prescription medication. Having a great sense of humor is helpful, but not as helpful as the resources NAMI provides. I've been blessed with a great number of fabulous, fabulous friends. My husband was diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia in 2008. This unusual dementia resembles a bipolar disorder and includes a loss of executive function, mood disorders, Parkinson's disease, and chronic pain. Our friends and my family provided much needed support and were a great help, but not as helpful as the resources that NAMI provides. I tell people I know every therapist in Iowa City. The help they've provided to me and my children has been phenomenal. I'm very grateful to them. But in addition to therapy, they need the helpful resources that NAMI provides. Andy and I knew very little about the lifelong impact that early trauma would have on our children when we adopted them. Our oldest son entered a PMIC residential treatment center twice during his teens. Our youngest had recently been discharged from Tanager Place in 2015 when my husband became very ill, was hospitalized, and then moved into assisted living. Andy's departure from our home was difficult on all of us, but especially on my youngest. His acting out included assaultive behavior at home. When he pulled a knife on me, I had no choice but to call the police. They wanted me to charge him. It felt like the only course of action, but I saw a notice in the paper about the NAMI Family Support Group. I attended, and I felt so welcome and so understood. The attendees encouraged me not to give up on residential treatment. They won't take him again, I cried. Keep trying, they replied. The value of NAMI's resources cannot be understated. I did get him into Tanager again, and he is now living at home. He's a junior at West High, and he helps me care for our 4-month-old granddaughter. Last year, I attended the invaluable family-to-family class. Such great information. All the fabulous sharing among the attendees. The empathy training and the voices behind you class stand out to me as the lessons that have truly changed how I've interacted with my husband and my children. The point of this talk for me is to simply remind all of you, I have great friends, I have great family, great therapy, great health care, but I still need NAMI. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mary. Our next speaker here today is Greg Hall. Greg is in his second year as a member on NAMI Johnson County's board, currently serving as treasurer. He is a member of the Finance Committee, the Advocacy and Outreach Committee, and facilitates the NAMIWorks support group. Greg is a University of Iowa graduate and has lived in Iowa City for the past 20 years with his wife, Jeanette. They have 2 grown daughters. Greg works as the Director of Compliance at Kirkwood Community College at Cedar Rapids. Greg.
This might just be right for me. Can you hear me? Is everybody all right with my volume? All right. As Kai just said, I have been with NAMI for a little over a year, and I'm going to go through a little bit of history with kind of my family and then myself, and kind of talk about how I became a member of NAMI and the involvement that I have today. So, starting out with my first real exposure to mental illness, and it has to do with my dad. I grew up in a small town in Iowa, Eldora, Iowa, if anybody's familiar with that, in kind of north central Iowa. My dad was a successful small-town attorney. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I have one older brother, and then myself. So your typical family of 4, middle America, great life growing up, right? I mean, I'm sure there's a number of you out there who had that same experience growing up in a small town in Iowa. Now I'm going to get some dates here, kind of go through. I'm not going to go through year by year with every year of my life, but I do think it's important just to give a time frame for this. So I was born in 1961, which is, well, if you add it up, it's 56 years ago, but that does not mean I'm 56. I'm 55 right now. I still have a ways to go. So if I was born in 61, I basically grew up in the 60s and 70s. I graduated high school in 1980 and college for the first time in 1984. So if you think back, those of you who are in that age group, I know a lot of you are not, but back then, discussion of mental illness really did not exist. I mean, I don't think it ever was discussed in my home. If there's anybody out there familiar with the medication of Prozac, became probably the most popular medication of all time when it came out, and maybe still is. But does anybody, this is audience participation time, does anybody know when Prozac was introduced?
88.
Anybody want to take another guess very close to 1988? 1987. Okay, so Prozac came out 3 years after I graduated from college. So if you can imagine, discussion of mental illness picked up really greatly with the introduction of Prozac. Books were written about Prozac. There were, I don't know, seminars on Prozac probably. So discussion of mental illness, because of the introduction of Prozac, became a little more common. But it was still taboo to talk about it out in public unless you really had that connection with mental illness in the group you were talking with. So really not a lot of discussion. And it was the same as that with my family. We didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about it at home. It just never came up, so I assumed it didn't exist. If you don't talk about it, if you don't hear about it, you just assume that it doesn't affect you and it does not exist. Well, it wasn't until I was in college, which is kind of sad to say, that I didn't know my father suffered from bipolar disorder, which back then I think we referred to it as manic depression. Maybe we still do, but I think the common term now is bipolar disorder. And he suffered from that most of his adult life. But again, remember, he was an attorney in a small town in Iowa. Who wants to tell folks in a small town in Iowa, as an attorney, as a pretty well-known person in a small community like that you have mental illness? You just don't want to do it. So you don't talk about it. So if you don't talk about it, you probably don't go seek medical help in your own community in small town Iowa. If you did that, everybody's going to know about it. So I think he probably just didn't seek the help that he needed. I remember, he always used to come home and maybe have a drink after he got home from work. I just assumed that was, normal dad's thing to do, right? A lot of people still do it. But when I think about it now, I really think that was a form of self-medication. And that was the way he dealt with it, at least for a while. I know he was on medications. I didn't know at the time that he was, but later on I figured that out. So I guess fast forward to 1994. So I am now 32 years old at that time, still a young person, right? 1994, I have my own family. I have a wife. I have 2 small children. I'm living in Kansas City. And I get a call at 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so at 4 o'clock in the morning when your phone rings, there's 2 possibilities, right? The one you hope for is it's a wrong number or some idiot friend who just called you for no reason, right? We can get over that one. Number 2 is it's bad news. Well, when I answered the phone, it was actually my dad. So I knew it wasn't the stupid phone call in the middle of the night. I knew it was probably bad news. So as the conversation went on, although he never said it personally, he was telling me goodbye. He was telling me that he was going to be taking his own life that day. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. That's what his message was to me. He called my brother after that and gave the same message. But he never really came out and said it. But you knew that's what he was talking about. So several hours later, frantically trying to get a hold of people, I'm 300 miles away. My brother's out in Seattle. He's in Eldora, Iowa, somewhere, but we don't know where. Cell phones, well, I guess car phones existed. Who remembers a car phone? About this big? So he actually had a car phone. So he was on a car phone out in the middle of nowhere making this phone call. I know it's not a joking topic, but it is kind of funny when I think about him on a big old cell phone in the middle of nowhere calling me. So long story short, he took his own life that evening. He was 59 at the time, and I was 32. And again, if I put that in perspective, I'm 55, I'm almost 56, right? So I'm in that same age range now. So I really think about it a lot, just because I'm in that same age group. He had 2 kids, I have 2 kids, wife, so circumstances are very similar. So it may not be a surprise that I also dealt with a lot of mental issues myself with anxiety and depression. And it really surfaced around that same time period. Him doing this did not cause me to have a mental illness. It didn't cause my anxiety and depression, but it certainly didn't help. I'm sure it triggered something, and it sure manifested itself a lot stronger from that period forward. And I've dealt with it for 23 years now, off and on, through medications, through therapies, et cetera. I mean, I think I do quite well, but obviously it's not easy. A lot of people can hide it. That's why you never know who is actually suffering. I can stand up, I think we're way ahead of schedule. I can stand up here and talk all day if you want. I don't think you want that, but I can hide it pretty well. And I'm not shy about talking about it. I mean, most of the people I know that I've dealt with this for a long time. But they're very supportive, and I'm lucky in that fact that I've had friends, family. I've also had a lot of resources outside of NAMI in the medical community that I was able to access. Not everybody has that. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't have that really need it. The ones who need it the most don't have it. So when I say I'm lucky, I really mean it. You know, lucky, people throw the word lucky around a lot, but mental illness, depression, anxiety, et cetera, it's not discriminating. You don't pick and choose who has it. It doesn't pick you. So I really feel lucky in the fact that even though it chose me, I've had people surrounding me and then NAMI itself to help me through. So that's the positive side of all this. So my connection to NAMI, you would think that with kind of the family history I have and the personal history I have with mental illness, is probably the reason that I searched out NAMI and found NAMI, but it really isn't. I didn't know much about NAMI. I was actually sitting at home a couple years ago thinking, I worked at home at the time. We were just talking about this. I worked at home kind of by myself. I had an office in Des Moines, but I worked out of my house, so I didn't see a lot of people. So I was looking for just a personal connection, a community connection to get myself back out in the community. And I remembered NAMI. So I walked into the NAMI offices one morning about a year and a half ago, and I don't remember. I remember Rita Offit was there. Mary, I don't think Mary was there. I can't remember. There was one individual there, and it just said, I'd like to volunteer. What do you have? They said, well, how'd you like to be on the board? And I said, you know, that sounds like a really nice opportunity. Let me think about it for a while. That was in August of, a couple years ago. I don't remember the years now. But then I actually joined the board that next year. So I've been on the board into my second year now. And it's been a great thing. Not just because of what NAMI does for those suffering through mental illness and families, et cetera, because of what it's done for me. I've learned so much being a part of NAMI, just from the educational standpoint, with the resources that are available, with talking with other NAMI members and board members and sharing information. To me, that's been the best thing. I feel like I've gained more from just being on board of NAMI than NAMI has provided me. Than I've provided NAMI. They've given me more than I've given them. How's that? That's a little easier to say. And I really feel great about that. If you even just take out the detail of mental illness and think about what's something we all really want to do, and that's just help people. I hope. Helping people is a wonderful thing to do. Forget mental illness. Let's go out and do something to help people. Then when you find the more detailed topic that you want to be involved in, which in this case is helping those with mental illness and families, et cetera, you kind of really found something that is worthwhile. And that's what NAMI does. So I feel real grateful that I've been able to be part of this and kind of share in this experience. I'm just kind of rambling. I have this all written out, but let me check my notes to make sure. I guess the reason we're here today. So we're here today to kick off NAMIWalks for Johnson County and for Lynn County. And I guess one thing I think about the walk, what it does, it is allows people who don't have a lot of time to volunteer because they're maybe doing other things, they got busy families, busy work lives, they do other volunteer activities, but it still gives them a chance to give to NAMI through not a lot of time, getting other folks to join them, getting some money accumulated with their walk teams and giving that donation to NAMI to allow NAMI to do what they do. So being that walk leader, building that team, raising those funds, this is what this is all about. And it's really too important not to do. And all of the people in this room already know that, right? That's why we're here today. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir because that's why everybody is here. You know, I wish we would have 200 more people who didn't know what NAMI was come to these so we can share our stories with those folks as well. It's obviously the largest fundraiser. It's where NAMI, we get all our money. Not all of it, but just about. I don't know what the percentage is, but I think we want to try to raise, $100,000? That's our goal this year. It's a lot of money, but it takes a lot of effort. But we need to be able to raise those funds for mental health awareness, mental health education, advocacy, outreach, all the things that we try to do. I think we do them pretty well, but we can always do them better. All right, before I give up the microphone, some shameless plugs maybe. One of the things that I do is I try to facilitate a group called NAMIWalks. Mary mentioned it, I think, earlier. NAMIWorks it's not a national supported NAMI program. We kind of just kicked it off ourselves at the request of a NAMI member. And that NAMI member was a working individual dealing with mental illness and wanted to just meet with other folks who were working in the community. Didn't matter. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a teacher, you're an accountant, you're an administrative professional. Didn't really matter. You were working in the community but dealing with a mental illness. And so we started a group up of folks like that. It's a small group. We'd love to have more participation, but we just talk about things that affect people in the workplace. Do you mention the fact that you have a mental illness? If you do, how do you bring it up? Do you talk to your boss? Do you talk to human resources? We're not legal experts and we're not medical professionals by any means. We're just people who have gone through this same situation several times. So we share experiences. It's just a time to share. But it's been a great group. But if you know anybody who can benefit from that, let them know. Look out on our website, our newsletter, et cetera. It's in there. We meet, right now we just meet once a month, the second Monday of each month. But we'd love to have more people come. I think it's a great thing. One of the things about it, we still have time. One of the things about it is when you think about, say, professionals out in the workplace, they probably have better resources than other people to search for medical assistance with mental health issues. But they also probably hide it better than anybody else because they don't want people in their profession to know that they have a mental illness. It may harm them in a professional manner. But we really need to get over that hump. And part of this group, it's a very confidential group. We don't share information outside of our group, but it allows people, again, to see other people in the same boat and just talk about their issues together. So I think it's a great group. I wish it would expand in the number of folks who would attend. So my last real shameless plug. So that wasn't shameless, right? That was just good PR. This is for those folks who may not have a walk team yet or just looking to support a walk team. Remember, my name is Greg Hall. My team is Walk the Walk. You can always join our team, support our team in any way you wish. Go out on the website, find us, and donate. So if it's not to me, somebody else's group, form your own group, as we probably are already. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Greg. That was great. Just something to keep in mind, too, when we always do our population within our viewing area at work. The population of Lynn and Johnson County combined is roughly 400,000 people. 1 out of every 5 is affected by mental illness. That's 80,000 people within 40 minutes of this location. So I think Greg's got a great point about people staying in because they're worried about people saying something on Twitter. They're worried about Facebook. They're worried about Instagram. Who knows what's going on in the high schools? I mean, there's a bunch of pressure there. So I think he made a great point with that, with really making sure that we get together and share our stories. Absolutely. And my final speaker here this morning, Erin Noon. Erin joined NAMI in December of 2016 as the Walk Manager and Resource Development Coordinator. Rain was not my fault. I'm hoping for a better one, because if you just joined in December of 2016, you just heard about the last 2 walks being all wet. It was not my fault. I'm hoping for better this year. Erin brings with her experience in fundraising, grant writing, and social media marketing. Please welcome Erin Noon.
Hi, my name is Erin Noon, and I'm the new walk manager for NAMI Johnson County. I'm new to NAMI, and I'm new to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, but I'm really excited to be here. NAMI, of course, is about education, support, and advocacy, and our NAMIWalks is one of our largest and most successful fundraisers in the country for mental health. So I'm your walk manager, I'm your biggest cheerleader. I will get excited for everyone and everything, literally. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the NAMI Walk. Nationally, in 2017, 81 walks raised over $11.5 million. Whoa! Exciting, guys. That's super exciting. Like I said, for education, support, and advocacy. And the great thing about NAMI Johnson County is that goes directly to our programs like Our Place, to our support groups, to our connections group. So just remember that as you're out there fundraising. Of course, our goal is $100,000 this year. Our walk will be on May 6th. That's a Saturday at the Terry Troop Recreational Center. And check-in starts at 8:30, and we start at 10 o'clock. All right, you guys are effective leaders. Leadership is putting things first. Like the tagline of the PowerPoint said, how to create great team captains. Well, we've already got some great team captains, so give yourself a round of applause because you guys are amazing. And I think one of the biggest resources we have for you guys is our NAMIWalks website, which that's namiwalks.org/Johnson County. And you can go ahead and register your team. And I think it's going to do a little walkthrough here. Yep, that's our register button. So you want to click that. And then in 5 easy steps, we can get you registered. You can register as a walker, as a volunteer, as a team captain, of course. You can even register as a virtual walker. So let's say you're not able to make it to the day of the event. You can register as a virtual walker and raise money that way. And then you select your team type. You create a really cool name. If you guys need some ideas, we've got some great team captain names already. So go ahead and check out our website and take a look at them. And then you put in your fundraising goal for your team overall. You select your t-shirt size because if you raise $100, you get a bona fide NAMIWalks t-shirt. Woohoo! Woo! And we've already got some folks who've already raised well over $100. I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. Just gotta break the tension there a little bit. Woo! Excited! Woo! I love the energy in here. Let's bring it to the walk. All right, we're gonna click through. You can tell us how you heard about us, maybe Facebook, maybe Instagram, maybe Twitter. This is not a plug at all. So, all right, and then of course you can enter in your contact details, and of course we'll need that to send you items from our recognition program. And I believe we have handouts today that talk about the various things we have for you. We have hoodies, we have t-shirts, we have backpacks, and it all depends on how much money your team is able to raise. So if you have questions, go ahead and send me an email. Woo! And then we go through and you're registered. So like I said, 5 easy steps. It'll take you right through it. And then yes, this is your portal for your team. You are able to create personalized messages for your teammates to send out to people who you want to sponsor. You can put pictures, guys, put pictures on your page. I'm telling you, that is the greatest way to pull somebody in. If they see a picture of your awesome t-shirts that you've made in the past, or your whole family, or your friends, it's just gonna get people more excited. You can collect offline donations as well, and you can enter that in. You guys pretty much have all the capabilities I do. So that's yay! Sorry, we're just riding the rails here. Like, we're just going through. Okay. So yes, ask us. If you have any questions at all, you can email me at walks@NAMIJC. And, you know, just get registered, guys. Get signed up. And if you need any help, hopefully some folks got registered today with some of our volunteers. But you can always send me an email, and I can always help you out. Also, this is a really neat thing for your team page. If you're a little hesitant about using just a random generated link that it creates, you can create your own team link where it actually says your name. So NAMIWalks.org/Stacy Mead or Greg Hall. You can actually do that for your page in your profile, so that's pretty neat. And yep, set your goals. Woo! All right. And like I said, with our national recognition program, you're able to get a t-shirt at $100, a game day tote at $250, and we've got kind of a breakdown, and I think you have it in your folders of all the neat, cool things you can win. And trust me, guys, you want to get some NAMI swag. I'm telling you right now, you want to do it. Okay. Yeah, I actually need to sit. So yeah, I can go ahead and be done, but feel free to send me an email. All right, thank you very much.